All right. Hi guys, welcome back to the From the Island podcast. Today we have two very special guests here. So first one, like she's the first ever female to compete on Ironman, Deethri Samarajeewa, and then we also have a coach, Mithun Liyanage, who's also the co-founder and also the head coach at Endurance Lab. Welcome guys, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah. So before we get started on anything specific, so Deethri, how was your experience at Ironman? What is the feeling like? Have it sunk into you yet? Like, how is it now?
Um, it did at I think about 2-3 days ago. I mean, it takes a lot of time for you to understand what I have done and finishing it. Even though it's a solo effort at that day, it's a massive team behind me. So I'm very grateful for that team to be there. So finishing it, crossing that finish line was one of the main goals I had this year. So for me to achieve it with all the obstacles, I was it's so surreal for me. It's overwhelming. The emotions are quite high. But I'm glad that I got to cross that finish line.
It's good. So, Mithun, how do you feel? I mean, you obviously played a big role in that journey. So, how are your feels? I know most probably you won't get seen enough, because you don't compete in the front line. But like, how does it feel to have one of your athletes be there?
So Deethri, uh, like like if we were to talk about how she got to the finish line, even before we talk about how she got to the finish line, if the fact that she got to the start was a great thing, because the things that she had to go through this year alone, she was nurturing a very sensitive ankle. Like she had an ankle injury that was giving her a lot of trouble, and we had to literally take it 1 month at a time, trying to figure out how to get about getting her race ready, and there were a lot of ifs and buts and a lot of doubt, but we stayed. I mean, I hats off to her for having faith in me, like and going ahead with the whole plan, and having trust in the system. uh, it was not an easy job.
Understand.
Like,
Makes sense.
she had she had to keep her head up high, even though there were so many things that was like pointing in the wrong direction. And hats off to her, man.
Yeah.
She did a phenomenal job in
Amazing. I
coming
mean,
up
I'm
on
sure
top.
it has been a journey of resilience, like until that point, and to even finish to finish the race,
Race
it's
is
all
all
about resilience.
race is all fun, right?
Yeah.
You're just going to go and execute everything that you trained up for, but the whole
Journey of it.
leading up to the start,
Yeah.
it, like, at some points, like, I'm not going to lie to you, it was nerve-wracking to me as well.
I'm actually very excited to listen to everything that went through during that journey. But before that, before getting into any specifics on that, like I want to learn a little bit more about your background. So I believe that you were a national level water polo
Yes.
athlete, right?
Yes.
So tell a little bit about those days. How did that go from water polo and synchronized swimming
Yeah,
as well
correct.
towards triathlons?
So since school, I was anyway like doing all the water sports. So that's my background: swimming, water polo, and synchro. So I have national colors for water polo and synchronized swimming both. So after I left school, I played for Navy water polo,
Okay.
and so I was always competing. And it's the coaches who used to train me in school, that discipline they instilled in me, uh, to like show up and just continue all of it. I bring that discipline to my current sport and my training now, as well. So that's there. I was playing water polo for Navy, and then we had to stop because we were recruited as volunteers, right?
Right.
So when I played for about 7 years, 8 years with them, and then we stopped that. And I have this at this point, running and doing any land activities is not my thing.
Right.
I hated running, so just started running because just to keep fit, or I was just like doing like random things. But I always did LSR.
Right.
At MAS,
Yeah.
we used to sign up for LSR, the 5Ks or the 10Ks. So how it switched was my good friend Charya, she decided to sign me up for half marathon, saying she's doing it.
Okay.
And then she decided to do a 10K that year, and I had to do a 21K.
Okay.
So that's how I decided, okay, no, I need to run a 21K half marathon. I can't just do this.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just start running to see if I like this. So that's how I started running. At this point, cycling was not even in the picture. Um, then from there we had Pro-Am series in 2018. Yeah. So there was an aquathlon. So I knew I could swim and run at distance. Okay, I'll do swim and run. Duathlon I didn't do, and the triathlon came. And
These are small triathlons,
very
like
small.
very community based
Right.
triathlons that we
Okay.
had leading up to the local
local
Ironman.
in 2019.
2019.
Leading, yeah.
2019 or 2018?
2018 only we had pro.
Yeah, so I
Pro-Am.
think you took part in 2018, no?
Yes, for Pro-Am.
When you say Pro-Am, just
That's a small series, like a local one where they organized just so that people could understand what it is.
right. Okay.
So that for the 2019, just before 2019, like 2 months
For
before.
leading up to the
The Colombo
Ironman. So
Ironman.
it just gives you a little bit of awareness
Like a
also
preview
about
as
yeah,
to
exactly.
what it is going to
Yes.
be. Okay.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Right.
At this point, cycling, getting on a bike, I have never done that before.
Right.
So I used to know him as a friend before he was my coach. We had a mutual friend. So that's how I know him.
Right.
And then he used to work, and I knew he used to do like Ironman, like triathlon, running. So I was like, I called him up, like, I need to rent a bike to do this Pro-Am. He was very interested. He was pushing me.
Right.
I was like, I need the shortest person's bike.
That was hurdle number one. Finding a short bike.
for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought he's giving me a bike with gears. I was like, there's gears in this bike? What do you do with it? Yeah.
Okay,
but
that's how much of a novice you
Oh,
were into
yeah,
cycling.
and-
Okay.
every
No,
2
no, I'll
meters.
tell you how much of a noise she was.
Okay.
Imagine you riding the bike and there's a U-turn. She's the person who will get down from the bike,
Oh, turn.
push the bike around the U-turn, and then get back on the bike and then carry on with whatever she was doing. That kind of that's
Right.
the kind of novice she was.
That's
Right.
how I did Colombo 2019.
Oh, okay. So then, I mean, just a very interesting question. I want to ask, like, so did you know how to ride a bike when you rented bike?
Not about like 10%. I would know you have to balance. I would have ridden with like training wheels, but without training wheels, not really.
Not really.
Not on the road.
Did Mithun help you
Yeah, he did a
with
lot.
that?
So I just helped her a little bit with the confidence.
Confidence,
to,
yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So the thing with her was she came with her endurance fitness to triathlon. So I didn't have to force myself to get her to build that endurance. It's just that she lacked a little bit of what to ride the bicycle, a little bit of confidence to ride the bicycle. That's what she mostly lacked, and to be able to push herself on the bike and on the run. Swimming was a breeze. We didn't even have to do anything about that. But it was just her bike and the run that we had to, like, coming from a water-based sports background. It was very tough for us to make sure that we don't get injured, because she's coming into land and the impact is a lot more. So we had to manage all that. But before we got into all that, it was when she registered for the full, her mindset was, okay, how am I going to do these 90 kilometers without crashing as in without having to stop.
Stop.
And and taking too many pauses, and being able to be fresh enough for the run afterwards. So that those were the questions that we were trying to figure out. So at that time we were just friends, and I was just trying to help her out, and she was determined. Like, and I had my doubts. I was like, oh my god, because I was taking part that year as well
Yeah.
with her, and on, like, while I was like crossing her, I would see how she was doing, and I would be like, okay, so she's done with her bike. She's going to start her run, so everything's okay. So I actually I actually met you at the finish line. I waited for you
Yeah,
at
I
the finish
know.
line. So it was a friendly, like, I was just helping her
Helping her
out,
Yeah.
and that, like, I remember how she actually started. I still remember she got on a indoor training trainer, and I got while I was working, I got her to get on the bike and pedal her heart out. And I was watching how much she pushed, and I was like, you know what? She has the engine, she has the capacity to push. It's just that she needs a lot more time on the bike to get understand bike handling skills and building that confidence. So one of the key things she couldn't do on the day of the race was drinking water while you're riding. Right? If you were to stop and drink and go, you're
You lose
losing a
time.
lot of time, right? So after the whole Colombo Ironman was done, we took part in another local event called RTP. RTP is where you ride from the northernmost point of Sri Lanka to the southernmost point as fast as you can. So you try to finish it within 48 hours.
Right. Okay.
Right. So you managed to do it in under
39 hours.
39 hours.
Yeah.
So that particular ride, we were like, we were, the decision was, let's stop everything. We need to figure out the basics, and then we went back to basics, figure out how to ride a bicycle with one hand so that she can signal to people around. So all that came later on. Right.
Okay.
So if the reason I'm saying all this is because also, if you are someone who wants to take part in Ironman, and if you are feeling like my bike level skills are not good enough to finish an Ironman, this is where she
This
was.
is the example, yeah.
Right? She's a prime example of what kind of, like, how a novice can get to the finish line with just all you have to have is a little bit of dedication and discipline, and that's all you need. And she's a prime example of all that. So if you're like, my message is, if you're a person who's not like who's having doubts,
maybe nervous
man,
about
just talk to her, and then she would give you all.
I'm sure a lot of people would love to pick your brain on that. So actually, I want to, since, like, he mentioned a lot about you being a novice during that time period, I really want to understand what your mindset was, like, from your perspective. Because for anyone outside, yes, it seems like it's great, she pushed through, what an amazing story, right? But I'm sure you had your doubts, your, like, emotional experiences during that race and before that race as well. So what was your mindset going into that, and how is it now different?
So Colombo 2019 70.3, the race was for me like, okay, so registered like in December, got the bike, and I told him, so I have the bike, I have everything, but this bike is not something I can do. And I think before the race, I didn't go on these outdoor rides on Sundays, which the group did, because I was not great at handling the bike. And we used to do this called brick sessions, where you do two things right, one after the other. So, and actually we only had a month and a half to train, from Jan till Feb. So there we used to go around spinner, but every time I stop, I used to either fall on the ground, or the bike is on the ground, or I'm on the ground. It's one of the two.
One of the two.
Right? And then I was like telling him, I'm falling. He's like, okay, so let's get you indoor so that you get some kind of confidence on the bike. So I did a lot of indoor sessions with him. He used to work, he was just helping me out. He was working at the place, and he used to get a trainer there, and he put me on the bike, and he was giving me like sessions, just ride. Um, and the run, since I have done it 21, I know I could do it, but my issue was doing it after the bike,
Yeah.
right? And I have never done a 90-kilometer ride before the race.
Before the race.
I used to I'm scared when a car comes
Yeah.
next to me or coming towards me, or because when you're riding, when
On
the
the
road
road.
is not closed, that's
Yeah.
what you have.
Yeah.
So, and so for me, that was the biggest thing. And I always had to stop for water, everything. So Colombo, for me, was just, okay, I just have to cross the finish line. And for me, it was, I know crossing the finish line is the big thing, but for me, the journey really helped me to continue.
Oh, okay.
If not, if the journey wasn't fun, you will never continue this sport. So for me, that journey with people who I was training with, he was helping me a lot, and that community who helped me, that's why you keep going.
Even though it seems as if it's just one person doing the race, it really
it's
is not.
not.
It really
There's
is.
It's tough
it's
when
tough.
when you're doing an endurance sport. It's very difficult if you're training alone. So because there are long training sessions that goes on for hours. It would suck if you're just doing it alone.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, so pretty interesting. So she just mentioned that you used to, help her out with training in terms of the indoor sessions, right?
Yeah.
So back then, was Endurance Lab there, or
No, so I was.
can you give a little
I
bit
was,
of a preview
I,
on that?
So I was working for a different company at that time.
Again, same industry or
Similar. I was into the corporate.
Right.
I was into corporate work, but I was into marketing back then.
right?
Realized that a desk job is not the best job for me, and I decided that triathlon was going to be my kind of passion, and I wanted to.
Was that like a very quick decision, or was it something you always had in mind?
No. So I got into sport around 11 years ago, and I kind of fell in love with it instantly.
Right.
And then I thought I'll just get myself certified, be able to coach other athletes. And while I was working, I started studying for this, and then got certified, and that's when I decided to go and do my own thing. I picked the wrong time to start, because just as like when I was about to start was when the Easter bombings happened,
Right. Okay.
and then 1 year after that it was
COVID.
right? So
Back to back.
yeah, the number of athletes who were interested in the sport just went down, and it was a struggle, but I had a good set of athletes who were pushing themselves even through all those adversities. Yeah, and it made sense for me to just keep going, So, and we never looked back from then. So, yeah.
It's pretty amazing to hear. Pretty awesome, because it's very inspirational. Because I mean, starting something during that time itself is pretty exhausting on its own. Like I know a lot of people who started businesses and say that was probably the worst time to start, and to be able to like stick it out somehow through that period must feel amazing now.
So, like, leave that aside.
Yeah.
So, her second event, her second Ironman that she was going to take part in, was going to be a year after the Sri Lankan Ironman.
Can
Sri
we
Lankan
name
7.
the event
So
as well?
it's in Malaysia, Langkawi.
Desaru.
So Desaru,
Desaru.
in Malaysia. So we started training for it, and every time when we were about to take part, they would just push the event to the next year.
Right.
So because of COVID and
all travel restrictions and
yes,
stuff. Yeah.
so all that happened. So she had to keep her head down, keep on training. We trained for it for 2 years, I think. For 2 years. So after her first event, to go and do her second event, it literally took us 2 years. So to be invested in it for that long also takes a lot
Because
of,
I understand how draining it must have been. Because when you train for a specific day and you do go through these different cycles of training as well, like you don't
Exactly.
do the same load
Yeah.
as you did before when you're close to the event. So I'm pretty sure that must have been very frustrating.
Yeah, so we follow a training method. What we do is we periodize it. So we have base, we build, then taper.
Taper, yeah.
Right. So we would have gone through that cycle a couple of times before.
Because taper is always much less load
Yeah,
as
exactly.
well. So I
So
understand.
we had to like keep our head down, and then
Yeah.
we need to understand. Okay, what are we going to do now? What are we going to do next? Are we like are we going to still focus on this particular event or change it? So we had a
lot of things to think. That's and also pretty something that I really want to touch up on while we are here is that, so I mean, obviously, like, people understand what you did was great, but at the same time they don't see at least the half of the commitment and sacrifice you have to make before doing the race itself. So in terms of how busy your training schedule is, like, I mean, in terms of the sacrifice you have to make on a personal level, like with friends, with other commitments, you know, so on and so forth. So can you talk a little bit about, like, what did your typical training day look like from start to end? Like, how much hours did you have to put into it? How did you even manage with work? Because I know you work full time at in corporate as well. So how did you manage? Like, it's three different things that you have to train for. How did that look like on a daily basis?
For full or for half?
For full, actually.
For full.
Yeah.
Okay. So full, we decided beginning, actually after World Champs last year, we were going to do full. And then I asked him, how many months do you want from me? What's the commitment you want from me to make the switch from
Okay.
70.3 to Ironman?
And
Then he's like, I need 8 months to 9 months.
right.
It's like, okay, we started looking races after that. So that's why we picked Ironman Barcelona in October. So, and then he was like, I'm not going to give you like 4-hour rides like from the start. Let's build you up for it. I'm not going to give you like 3-hour runs at the start. So he was building me up for the long sessions. So we started training in Jan for it, but down the line I got injured, so there was a lot of things I needed to work around the injury. But I did sacrifice a lot of my social time. I had zero social life. It was basically wake up, go for training in the morning. He's kind enough to say, okay, you have work at this time. This is your training hours in the morning. This is your evening session. Okay, you can come in whatever time you want, train and go. And you can come after work, train and lock it up and go. So he has given that flexibility for me to do that because we had a goal to finish, right? So he did that part. I was like, my work hours are long. So I needed to ask him how I can do that. So he gave that flexibility to me. So it's more like wake up, train, go to work, a full days of work, come back, train, close the lab, go to sleep again, repeat it. Right? So I had 13 to 14 sessions a week.
Right.
Uh,
It's almost 2 sessions a day.
so
That's so. I mean, with all of that, like, I mean, I think a lot, like, one of the biggest, like, most important factors is like getting enough sleep. Were you ever able to fit that in, or was that never a
Yes,
problem?
Deethri, answer that question.
this year he made like, you need to have weekdays minimum of 6 hours of sleep.
Right.
If not, I don't want to see you at training.
Right.
Or he will reduce my workload at that time. And weekend he's like minimum 8. If not, he's going to reduce my workload. So for me, I need that workload.
So you would
So I will
get that.
take my sleep. So that means I will make sure I'll be like, listen, I'll get this done this day. I do my important urgent tasks, finish that off. I did not have any meetups with my, it's really cut off from outside world.
Yeah.
But it's something you need to understand what your goal is. Oh, my goal was to finish it.
Yeah.
And for me to get to the finish line or to the start line, I needed this sleep, I needed my recovery, I needed the training. And if so many people will say, you sacrifice this, is it worth it? For me, if you think it's a sacrifice, you're not going to enjoy the sport.
it.
Right.
Because it's such a sour thing to sacrifice
Exactly.
something.
So for me, it didn't matter for me to say, I'm sorry, guys, I have training in the morning, so I can't come.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I can't come for dinner
Yeah.
because I have finishing at this time.
Yeah.
It didn't matter to me.
Yeah.
And I have a brilliant set of friends who understand that.
That's amazing.
And there are days that it's like, it's okay, you finish and just come for food and then go back. Or like, come for food, you can sleep here and then go for training in the morning. I have done that.
Yeah.
So I have a brilliant set of friends who have like, I've fallen asleep at the dinner table.
Right.
They're still fine with it as long as I show up and say hi to them.
What matters is that you're there.
And there.
Yeah.
And then you can sleep here. I have slept with my friends and gone for training in the morning. So I did that part. So it's, for me, I can't call what I have given up as sacrifice because for me, that's what I wanted to do. And I was happy to let go of it.
That's amazing to hear. And like while we're on that same topic, like you mentioned, like, separate entities that really did help you and made it like, easier for you to get there, like your friends, coach, everybody else who was involved. But I want to also talk like a little bit about how you manage a corporate lifestyle and a corporate job for more than 8 hours a day, I assume as well, maybe. So how have they been supportive? Like, do they know about the journeys that you have taken for Ironman and even before? How supportive have they been? Talk a little bit about that as well.
If I look into it, so from last year World Championships, they have been very supportive for me. My bosses, like from the top, from the CEO, the CMOs, and also my boss, the directors, they've been very supportive. So 1 month before, I went after my boss and said, I have like this long sessions in the evening. Can I leave work in 45 minutes or half an hour early? Is that possible? They were like, sure, no problem. I'll take care of that.
Right.
So I had that support this time, which actually gave us a lot of like help in hand where I could get that hours of sleep after training before I show up for the next session. And even during the race, I said, I'm not contactable in this period. They were like, okay, fine. Because I said, any other race, I am okay, but this one, it was like, it's a bit tough.
Yeah.
It's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
Because it's unknown territory for me. I haven't done the distance before. Even if I have done it, it's still the same. But
it's not the same, yeah.
I would still go like, I was like, I'm not contactable. Can you all manage it? It's like, sure, we'll solve that out. And I was able to delegate. And what they did was they taught me how to delegate work to my team. You need to start grooming people up when you're not there so that they can take over. And when you come back, the business is not gone. It's there. So they were guiding me on how to delegate things. So in that way, they were very supportive this year in my journey, and my family.
Of course.
They've been so understanding of my crazy dreams of what I do.
I mean, you have to, dream crazy in order to do some crazy stuff. But anyway, moving back into, like, I want to speak to Mithun on this behalf, actually. So, I'm pretty sure, like, there's a lot of chatter about how motivation and discipline are two different things, right? And one thing that's certain is that you can be motivational on certain days, but it's not going to be there at all times. Given how crazy her schedule is, I think discipline must have played a really big factor, and I'm sure you've had to have, one-on-ones with her in terms of how her emotional and the mental state is at. So how did you manage that with her? How did you keep her going as a coach?
The funny thing is, she's so dedicated that she was getting me to push her. She would be the one who's asking the questions. What's my workout this week? What's my workout this weekend? So she would be at it. So I didn't have to work that much hard. Like I didn't have to work hard on getting her to be like, you know what, you have to make sure that you're going to be here at this time.
Nothing like that.
Nothing like that. she would be the one who will be the first person to come to the lab, no questions asked, and she'll be the last person to leave also in the night. So that part I was sure. Even I knew even if I didn't go for this session, I know the session would be done. I know that the stats would be sent to me at the end of the day. Um, it, I didn't have to work that hard for her. The so just to give, I don't think we kind of communicated to the listeners what are the distances that what a Ironman 70.3 is and a full Ironman is like Ironman. So for those who do not know, they need to understand that she has to do a 1.9 kilometer swim.
This is for
the
70.3.
70.3,
Half Ironman.
1.9 kilometer swim, followed by a 90 kilometer bike and a 21 kilometer run. That's a half marathon. So you do that back to back the same day, right? In one go. So Ironman is exact double of that. So you have a 2 mile swim, 180
kilometers.
3.8.
So, 2
okay.
it's almost
4
4 kilometers swimming, followed by 180 kilometers of cycling and a full marathon, that is 42 kilometers, right? So when you're training for these two events, it's training for a half Ironman, 70.3 is hard enough.
Yeah.
But she decided to go and do the full also. So which is where a bike session towards the latter part of her training would be about 4 hours of indoor cycling. That means you're just looking at a screen like an iPad for 4 hours while you keep on cycling, right? So the dedication and the other mindset that you have to be able to do that at least thrice a week, twice or thrice a week. Yeah, sometimes thrice a week. It's something else. You need,
because it must be mind numbing as well.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So that's exactly what it is. So I didn't have to put pressure on her to do that. She was able to do it on her own. So I was lucky that way. I was like, dedication was not something that I had to, and discipline was not something that I had to like
teach her.
She already had it. Hats off to your coaches who coached her for swimming and water polo. That was easy. So
that's pretty interesting, because Deethri, one of the things that I want to actually ask you is that, so I mean, coach says you had the discipline going, like, coming into the sport itself. So what did drive you? Like, what was that factor that you were like, you know what, I want to make sure that this is done. I want to get to training on time. Like, what got you that discipline? Is it just the fact that your trainers were like, or coaches were good when you were in school and stuff, or was there anything personal that you that drove you
towards training?
Towards training, like being so disciplined.
So he would tell me. I asked him like, how long is the bike? How long is the run? I had a separate swim coach, but they all communicate, and my strength coaches all communicate together with him, and that's how the plan comes, right? But when I ask him, he's like, okay, this is it. And then what I do is on Sundays, I really plan my week. And I need to know, okay, if it's this long, if I have to get to work at this time, I have to be there at this time. And I need to get the session in. I need to stretch after, I need to do form roll after, before I go into work also. So all that, I plan it out. And so for me, I think if you swimming, if he says, when I was in school, if you say it starts at 5, 4:59 the whistle goes, and that means the first swimmer is pushed off, right? So when he puts slots on the bike saying 5:30, 6:30 or 6:30, I know I need to be on the bike at that time.
Not that you get to the
gym at that time. That's when training starts.
Right.
And with all my water polo coaches, like, the amount of discipline and like it was in and out for us when we were in school, and we were kids, and if we weren't pushed the way we were pushed then, I wouldn't have brought that in here.
Okay.
So it had, and also school and my upbringing, my parents, all of them, they brought that discipline to me.
I think that
Don't waste
environment really
anyone's
helps
time.
shape
Yeah.
you up. Yeah. This is a very, I mean, I don't know how you would answer this question, but has it ever gotten too much? Has it ever felt like a burden?
No,
Yes,
like
it has. Yeah.
I seen her like
Break down.
multiple times,
Yeah.
like having her head on the handlebar and just being like that and saying I can't do it.
Yeah.
So we have always, I've always told her that it's fine for you to have an off day, to be kind to yourself, because I know the amount of work that she puts in, and you're not going to have the perfect day all the time.
Yeah.
But then, she has had many a day
lot of
that
breakdowns.
It makes us human, doesn't it?
But the thing is, she comes the next day, comes
With
back.
a better mindset.
Yeah, it's what keeps you going, right?
100%.
So yeah.
There it
Amazing.
is.
Awesome. Cool. Okay. So I want to take you down the memory lane a little bit. I want to discuss about the specific race or other event that you competed at, the one that happened in Abu Dhabi, the World Triathlon Series, if I'm not mistaken. So can you give a little bit of an intro as to why that event is different from Ironman, and in terms of like how like the importance of the event itself, and give a little bit of a background, and also talk about that. Shall we talk a little bit about that event, because I think that's your first international event?
No.
Or is it this?
It was second one after the zero.
Yeah.
But
So
first
we'll
ever World
World Triathlon Series.
Triathlon
Yeah.
Series, right? So can you talk a little bit about
So
on
how Ironman distances are different. So there's 70.3 and there's Ironman, whereas World Triathlon Series is a sprint distance or an Olympic distance.
Right. Okay.
So in World Triathlon Series, a sprint is 750-meter swim, 20K bike, and a 5K run.
Right.
So in terms of triathlon and cycling, you on a bike, Ironman you can't draft,
Okay.
but in World Triathlon Series, drafting is legal.
Is it possible to explain what
Yeah,
draft?
so drafting is where you go right one after the, like one behind
right.
each
Right
other,
behind.
and
Right
each
behind.
other, and so basically it's easier for the person at the back.
Because there's less resistance.
Less
right?
Exactly.
resistance, exactly. But so World Triathlon Series is somewhere you collect points to yourself or
Right.
to the country, where then you can qualify for South Asian Games or Asian Games or Olympics. So that's where you start collecting points. There
Right. Okay.
are World Triathlon Federation under them. They have their triathlons. So you have to do those. You would have a license number, and under that you start getting points. That's how you start doing the World Triathlon Series. So it's a very, very different platform to Ironman.
So in terms of, you said there are two different sections, like sprint and the Olympic
distance.
So what did you compete in? Did
I
you
competed in the sprint distance.
Right.
That was in 2023. Abu Dhabi, that's the World Triathlon Series. That's where it opens. So Olympic distance is 1.5K swim, a 40K bike, and a 10K run.
Right.
So it's a bit double than
Double
what.
that,
So
yeah.
that's the distance where what Olympic Games
At Olympics,
triathlon happens. Yeah.
Right. Since you mentioned that, that is the platform where you start collecting points yourself as an international athlete who represents the country, and then get to participate in South Asian Games and whatnot. I want to touch base on the fact that, have you represented Sri Lanka by any chance in any of those
No,
competitions?
I haven't.
Not
I've
but
gone privately and done the World Triathlon Series.
Right. So I'm going to pivot to Mithun on this topic, because since this seems to be a little bit on the logistical side of like whom you represent and what you represent, right? So any reason why you chose to be like, put her up as like a private entity towards that World Series?
What we were planning to do that early that year when we were setting ourselves the goals, what our main objective was to be able to represent Sri Lanka for SAR Games was that year, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
The SAR Games that was coming up that year, and also Asian Games, if I'm not mistaken. So those two we were trying to qualify to be able to take part at those events. But sadly, Sri Lanka, although we have a triathlon federation, we have been having it for some time. We have not had a selection, a national selection since 2019.
So that's since we had a previous Ironman.
Yeah,
If
so
I'm
so
same
we
timeline.
right after that we have not had
Okay.
a
Any
selection.
reason
So
for that? Or I mean, from for
the
your in your knowledge, like.
the thing is, we have inquired multiple times from the local federation. We have a triathlon federation which has been there for many a year, and up until now, since 2019, we have not been able to convince them to have a selection for our athletes to go and represent Sri Lanka. We have so much of talent
Yeah.
in Sri Lanka that we can go and compete against India, Nepal, at least Southeast Asia, right? South Asia. But because these selections have not happened, we have not been able to convince them that we are good enough,
Right.
to go and perform.
Does that also mean that since 2019, none of our athletes have represented us, like the country, in any of these events?
To my knowledge, no.
Okay,
To
for
my
set.
so
Okay.
there are athletes who have been sent,
Mm-hmm.
but I do not know what the selection process
Process was
was.
right. Okay. So I
Right?
think it's not very transparent as to how
It
those
doesn't
athletes came into that place.
exactly,
Right. Okay.
because for all the other sports you have, for cycling you have the national games, for running you have the national games, all that. For triathlon, although the federation exists, it has not been uh, very favorable
Very
for
fair.
any of the triathletes in Sri Lanka.
Right. Okay.
Um, uh, I I have written to them multiple times. I have written to the international federation
Have you ever
multiple
heard
times.
back?
The international federation told me to get in touch with the local federation, and local federation has not even
It's an
bothered
endless
to.
loop of.
Yeah,
Okay.
they have not even responded to the emails that I've sent. I've spoken to them personally, trying to get this rectified, so that we can take the local talent to the international market. But the because of the fact that they do not have these selections, no one gets a chance.
Makes sense. Yeah. Understood.
So we are now, because we can't represent Sri Lanka, we have no other option but to just represent ourselves.
And I think that's a big loss for the athletes as well, because you don't necessarily get to represent your country at all times.
Exactly. So that also has it trickles down to the fact that triathlon is not the cheapest sport to
Of
be in,
course.
right? So if you have talent and if you want to perform at an international level, you have to get some kind of support, right? So to get that support, if you're not if you're if you're not if you're not representing the country, or it's very difficult even to approach to sponsors, or like just to talk to anyone to help them fund you. They'll be so one of the first things that they would ask is, have you represented Sri Lanka and whatnot,
Right.
and then we go back to
The
the same
same
thing
loop.
where
Yeah. Yeah.
you understand.
So, but then there's like coming back to you. So, as he said, like it's not the cheapest sport to be in. Um, have you ever had any recognition from any, I don't know, like sponsorships, or has, I don't even, I don't know, maybe this is a redundant question, but like, has the government ever offered to help you in by any capacity, or has it always been like your personal funds that you had to sort out for all of these things?
So, I would say for World Championship 70.3 last year, my company sponsored me fully.
Right.
So MA sponsored me for it, and they helped me out with training, and the entire cost of World Championship was sponsored by MAS. And he was sponsoring me at training.
Right.
So that cost was taken off from me for World Championship. But for all the other races, I privately funded myself and went because I genuinely enjoy the sport.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to take part, and so that's why I did
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So then, Mithun, again, it must be really exhausting to look at the same problem, because I'm sure there's so much more potential athletes who are also available but can't really get into the sport by like at all by any means because of this said factor. Any provisions that are in Sri Lanka right now for someone who want to get in but don't have the funds? Like, are you on your own in that case? Is that how the situation is right now?
The thing is, okay, I'm going to touch base on something that you just asked her about how the government, whether the government help. So the federation does not come under the government.
Oh, right. Okay.
It comes under the Olympic Committee.
Right.
Right. So the Olympic Committee reports to the government. So if the Olympic Committee is not doing their part, government has no say
No
in
say
it.
in it.
Right. So even if the government wanted to help her,
They can't.
They can't, because she doesn't fall under the government federation. She goes on. It goes under the Olympic Committee and then trickles down. Olympic Committee, as they get funds. The Triathlon Federation gets
do.
funds from the Olympic Committee depending on how important the sport is and how developed it is and how many athletes are there. Then they get funded.
Right.
The federation has been there for X many years. No, there has not been a single selection. I don't know where the funding goes. I don't know. I'm not aware. Okay,
Yeah.
but again, if you're a beginner triathlete who has talent, and if you want to really showcase your talents, I would suggest, if you're tight for cash, joining the military is the only option, because the military is, I think Navy and Army, they had triathlon teams that was
Right.
funded by the military. But apart from that, it's self-funded most of the time.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's actually pretty disappointing, given that, as you said, there's so many athletes who can go head to head against international athletes, but they don't get the chance. Okay, so I want to pivot the conversation again towards a little bit towards, like, since I mean there's a specific thing that we are all very proud of about Deethri, which is that she's the first ever like female in Sri Lanka to finish an Ironman, right? Any specific challenges that this is to you as well, Mithun? I mean, when training her, any specific challenges or any things that you had to specifically think about, and when you approached the race, I mean, you had a lot more obstacles, I assume, maybe. I mean, I want to touch up on those. Like, what were those? Any specific things that you can think of and talk about?
Go first.
Okay. So when we were thinking about her schedule, right, it had to be practical.
Yeah.
Right. I found her some days coming for this next session like she was like about to get hit by a bus. Like she was so like drained out, tired, and I would be like, you know what, today it's a recovery set, just do a small set, go home, go back to work, like go if you can go home and sleep a little bit. And we had to take conscious decisions to take some of the morning sessions off so that she gets the extra couple of hours of sleep, just so that she can recover, right? So practically coming up with that plan for the whole week was I think the most challenging in my books, because we could come up with the most elaborate fancy training program, but if it's not going to work according to her working hours and her social life or whatever, it it was tough. So because when it comes to triathlons, it's not just swim, bike and run. You also have to focus on recovery, and you also have to focus on strength, right? Especially the distances that she was into, right? So that also takes time. Recovery is not just sleeping, but also stretching, getting massages, going to the physio, getting your foam rolling on, all that, right? All that takes time. You have only 24 hours to do
I
all
was
that.
gonna ask, by any chance, do you have more than 24 hours in your daily clock?
Exactly. So just imagine she has a 2-hour run in the morning,
Right.
and in
Like
the
every
evening,
morning without
so,
a fail.
so just
It
some
changes.
days.
Some days, okay.
And then in the evening you have a 4-hour bike ride. That's 6 hours,
6 hours gone.
gone. And then you have to travel back and forth to work, back and forth to the lab. You have to make sure that you eat. You have to get your work done. I don't know how she did it. I honestly don't know how she did it.
In terms of like nutrition, since he mentioned like you have to
Yeah,
eat,
yeah.
I mean, how did you keep up, like as in like with nutrition itself? Did you have another like a consultant for that?
I did.
Or?
I had a nutritionist. So what I told her the distances. So every time we change the period of the block, I used to keep, this is the block we're going to do. If it's build or if it's base. So based on that, she used to change my nutrition. So most of the time I said I need something that I can eat on the go. So she used to curate it for that for me. So like my morning oats before training, it's like a shake. So I don't waste time sitting and eating. I have it on the go. And recovery drink is just recovery shake right after. Then it's like that. So I am doing a lot of things on the move.
Right.
So I don't waste time by sitting stationary and doing things. So that's how I.
So I'm
kind of
sure
got
your
that
energy
out.
levels has to always meet your requirement throughout the
Not all the
day.
time. Coffee helps. But yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay. And then Mithun, like in terms of like coming back to the whole point of nutrition, that's something that a lot of athletes neglect, if I'm not mistaken, that and sleep, because they don't take recovery as serious as the sessions they do
Yeah.
at the gym itself, right? So how do you shape your athletes at the gym, like to make them understand how important it is to get the recovery in? Like, do you always have to keep on telling people,
Yeah,
sleep,
I have to.
eat? Yeah.
It's amazing how much I get annoyed. Like I get annoyed when I don't get the correct amount of sleep, like from the athlete
Athletes.
compared to their stats at a session. Like even if she doesn't hit those times, I'm not as disappointed as I would be if she told me, Mithun, I had a late call yesterday. I had to deal with this,
And I couldn't sleep.
and I couldn't sleep, and I'll be like, I'll be more upset.
Yeah.
And sometimes I've asked you, so what are you doing here now, right?
Right.
So that's how paranoid and like so her, we have never had a problem with food, have we? No, it's just
Because
that she has a bad habit of keeping things half eaten in the fridge. Like they have these 4-hour long rides.
Right.
So that's the other problem. Sri Lanka, sometimes we don't have access to like simple things like good energy bars,
Yes.
energy gels. I mean, now it's better.
Better, much better.
Right? Now we have guys who are bringing them down, selling them. But like a couple of months ago, So we would have to ration it out. So I'll have.
Oh, really? Is
Yeah.
that so?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
so,
that's pretty
like,
interesting.
Because like good energy bars are so expensive. Like
It is.
so for her, if you are doing a 4-hour bike ride, you have to have at least 2 or 3 good energy bars and energy gels. So that 4-hour ride would uh, cost close to around 2,000 to 3,000 rupees
Per ride.
just for nutrition. This is nothing to do with everything
Everything else.
right? So if you and if you we have to, like, in terms of challenges, to figure out, okay, this is my requirement for the next couple of months. So you have to think, okay, my friend is coming on this day, I can get him to bring some energy gels or energy bars, or
You plan
like,
that much ahead.
exactly, right? So apart from those were the challenges that we had, right? Getting sourcing
Not getting
things,
into the gym, but like during and
yeah,
Yeah.
everything
sourcing
else.
things, like simple things like salt tablets. Salt tablets is what we have on long runs
Like for
or long
cramps
rides.
and
Exactly,
everything.
reduce the chances of cramping. You don't get it here,
Right.
right? So you have to make sure that you get these things down and stock it up, so that when you have these long sessions,
You're very ready for
yeah.
it.
So we would like, okay, maybe tomorrow I can have the other half. I'm not going to throw it off. They put it in the fridge, and then they had each one of my athletes had like a box full of half-eaten energy bars. And at the end of the season, I'm like, whose energy bars are they?
It's pretty challenging to do an Ironman itself, but when you do it here, I think it adds up so many
Exactly.
more
So-
layers to it.
So what others don't realize is, if you were in a country like Australia, or you in Europe or the US, you have these races every weekend,
Yeah.
right? Depending on like
Some type of competition would or event would
exactly.
be there.
It's so easy for you to get all the confidence when it comes to racing, the latest tech, the latest food, everything is so easy, right? For us to go and do an international event and come back, it's so expensive. Right? So whatever race that we are going to do, there's no room like
For
error.
You have to
You have to go and
perform.
I mean, it's a goal that you have set for yourself.
Yeah.
But because you have invested so much, you are like, you know what? I can't mess this up.
And like it's not, and then added on to that, there's obviously the people who are in the background who are going to be looking at it. Like from that end, does that matter?
I mean, no.
Or is it just a personal?
Your support crew is always supportive.
whatever.
Whether they understand, and if you
Yeah.
have a bad day, they'll understand.
Of course.
Otherwise, they are not.
Did you have a KPI set up for the Ironman, like in terms of the time that you were going to finish, or?
Initially, we did.
Okay.
And then with the injury, we had to like move things around. But we managed to hit the target either way.
Initial
So,
time, yeah.
That's amazing. All right. Okay, so before coming into an end in the discussion, I want to ask you, like, I mean, I don't even know whether you've thought about this, but any idea about the next steps? Like, what's next for you?
So we're doing Colombo 70.3 next year. That's something we planned when we got to know.
And 70.3 means half Ironman,
Half
just for the
Ironman.
general
Sorry,
audience.
It's a half Ironman, which is in Colombo. I think it's always fun to race at home, because most of these, my friends, my family, they don't get to see me race, right? So it's always fun to race with them there. That's something which I did here in 2019, and I would love to do it here again. So I'm going to race
After everything that you've...
for in 2026 in Feb. And after that, there will be a few more races. Haven't planned yet. Have to sit with him for that.
A lot of work coming your way.
No, it's how she plans out like months in advance is
that's the key.
Yeah. Because even traveling, it's cheaper if you get the travel earlier. So we had budget
so much planning going into it.
So normally what the two of us do is end of the year or beginning of the year, we sit down and we plan the year. Okay, this is the race. This is type A. This is type B. It's not like we have a lot of races in Sri Lanka to go, and I think he really pushes me to do the local cycling races here. So that it's easy access, you gain confidence on the bike, it's mileage for you, it's take it as a
Take it as a
training.
training.
But here, so do it because we don't have a lot of races here.
Races to participate.
So we have the 2 type A races, those are the 2 goals for the year, and then the rest just
Like supportive
supporting to the race.
events, right? Do you have any personal goal that you want to achieve, like in the coming year? Like, is there any event that you specifically want to participate? Like, is there do you have any like number one priorities for the coming year?
Next year, for now, because Colombo is so early in the year, will be Colombo, and maybe towards the end of the year or just before, I'll have another race planned.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Those are the 2 that I have
That's
in
awesome to
mind.
hear. Mithun, I want you to also talk a little bit more in detail about the Colombo event as well, because I think you were probably involved. Like, you have a lot of athletes who are training under you for this event that's coming up, and like after this segment as well, there will be hopefully inquiries coming your way regarding the event itself and training. So maybe a little bit of a message to people who are maybe doubting themselves without signing up, because of whatever hardships that they have in terms of training, or not having the right gear, not having the correct financial backing that they need. Like, do you have any advice for them? Do you want to, what message would you want to give them?
All right. So if you were to look at her as an athlete, she is a very dedicated athlete who will put training as the number 1 or number 2 in her priority list. I understand there are people who have family, who have kids, who have a lot of other issues that's holding you back. Okay, so just because you were listening to all of us talk about her training plan doesn't mean that you also have to train at the same level or intensity, right? You need to understand what your goal is. If your goal is to finish it, we can come up with a practical way to work around everything that you get to do. I have a couple of clients who come in who have 2 kids, like kids who are doing sports where they have to go and drop them in the morning, pick them up, take them to school. While they do all that, they kind of slot their training into their daily routine. So if you can program it in a way, all you need to do is about 5 sessions a week. You don't even have to do morning and evening, right? If you want to, if you're at a certain fitness level, so you can do training 5 times a week and still be able to complete an Ironman, a half Ironman. So don't get fooled by the fact that I have to do morning evening sessions. That's not the case. And in terms of funding, it's as expensive as you want it to be.
Right.
If you want a fancy bike, you can get yourself a really fancy bike which will cost you an arm and a leg. But if you want a decent bike which will get you from point A to point B, you can borrow, you can lend it from a friend, you can rent one, or get a second-hand bike. Right. So again, just because someone else has a really fancy bike doesn't mean that you need to get one. Right. So it's not that expensive if you budget it. Right. And there are in terms of training, we have indoor training facility at CRNFC. It's called Endurance Lab. You can come and train indoors, because one of the challenges that us as locals that we experience is that after 6:30 there's no chance of you cycling outdoors. On a weekday. There's so much of traffic, so it's convenient for you to just bring your bicycle. If you have one, you can fix it onto one of our machines and do the bike set while you're being like indoors. Or you can come and rent a bike from us and do it indoors. So that is also that also works well when it comes to convenience. You know, you can come and get your bike session or run session, anything done at any time of the day.
Right. Okay. Before we close up with, I just have like one more question. So this is specifically towards the crowd that's watching who might be intrigued about or like rather interested about a Colombo Ironman event. Let's say you are a beginner, uh, like you don't really have much experience in either running, cycling, no swimming. Is it enough time for someone to decide today and be like, okay, I want to go, I want to participate? Like, how long of a time would you give like like a beginner to get into training and then compete? Or does it not matter where you are at a physical level? Is it all about the mindset that you bring in to training and then for the race? Or is it a bit of both? Like, how would you
So
say that
if I was
timeline
to
would look
be,
like?
so look, if you talk about Deethri, she started fully getting invested and getting into full blown triathlon training with 1.5 months or 2 months to the race day.
Right.
Right. Having said that, she had
Swimming.
swimming to back her up, because what people don't realize is that swimming is the one that takes the longest time for you to master.
Yeah.
Right? If you are not a swimmer, you need to leave at least 6 to 12 months to become a decent swimmer, to be able to finish the 1.9 kilometers. And the 1.9 kilometers has to be done within 70 minutes.
70 minutes.
Right? If you don't finish it within 70 minutes, you get knocked out.
Oh,
You
right,
can't
okay.
do the other three the other
Like
two
you get
disciplines.
disqualified basically,
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
Right.
So you need to be able to get out of the water in 70 minutes.
What are the limitations or rather the maximum time you can take on the other events as well? Like for cycling, is there a time limit?
So if I'm not mistaken, cycling is
5.5.
5.5 hours. I'm not 100%.
That's okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
I will give you the times.
We can continue with you were saying.
Yeah.
From
So
the start,
swimming takes
right?
most time.
From the start.
4 hours for the bike
Yeah.
and
8
3 hours for
the
the run. I think in total 8 hours.
8 hours.
In
Yeah.
8.5 or 8.
8 hours.
I
I'm
need
not
to
sure.
double
Yeah,
check.
it's 8 or 8.5.
That's okay.
It
We can
was
move on.
the-
We'll come back to the.
So the swimming, if you do not know how to swim, that's the first thing that you need to get it done with.
Learn how to
Yeah.
swim.
If you can swim, and if you are at a decent fitness level, 4 months, 5 months is sufficient for you to get to the finish line without a problem. That is without having any goals in terms of
Like
timing
timing
and
and all of that.
But if you want to really push yourself and if you want to get a good time, 1 year would be ideal.
Okay.
Right? So that you get that, you work on your swimming in the sea, figuring like how to manage your bike for 90 kilometers, pacing, all that experience is more if you do it for a little longer.
And I'm sure after this, a lot of the viewers who will be interested will have a lot more questions. So we'll direct them straight to your way. Like we'll link all your Instagram pages and everything on the description so that you get all the inquiries and maybe you can help some athletes along the way as well. Then Mithun, thank you so much for that explanation. And Deethri, so thank you so much for coming in today. And I know this must have taken like a good 1.5 2 hours worth of your time as well, which I know is a pretty big commitment for you. And thank you so much for coming in. And as the crew of the From the Island podcast, like we are very proud of you, and I'm sure everyone who's watching would be very proud to hear your story and finally embrace and recognize how much talent that Sri Lanka has to offer. So thank you so much for coming in, and Mithun, thank you so much for coming in today as well and helping her out with all her journey. And can't wait for what's next.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.